Let me start by asking this. So let's say you enter some URL in the browser, right? Take google.com, for example. You click enter, and then the page starts loading in the browser, and the page is displayed. You see, like the search bar is everything.
Yes.
Uh, Describe as many steps as you can in between, like what is happening from pressing the enter button to the page being displayed in the browser, like what's happening behind the scenes.
Okay, like in terms of React, what it does, it simply like a page.
Right.
Yes, it simply paints the like whichever like a code. In first step, it does the paint. So like in terms of React,
Let's go behind that also. So from the point where you click enter on the URL, a network request is made to the server, right? So let's start from there. Like you send a request, you get a response.
okay, in that I know like once we click enter, request goes to the network, and then from that like in form of an index HTML, so it brings that to page, and that if you have loaded some CSS and scripts in your like page, so that also gets loaded. And if you use like defer async, so defer will be uh, done once like you get at least HTML part is like came into the browser, and then JavaScript part will load if you have done it defer, so that there's no objection to the user if user clicking or something or somewhere.
Right. Okay. And now let's go to the browser painting part.
Okay. Actually, for this, I have like only this idea. Like this is how it works in like in not in too much depth.
Sure. Yeah, that's okay. You probably know about it, but like I'm sure you know about the
But I don't have the right words. So you.
yeah, that's okay. We get through it help over the pause. So we'll dig deeper on async and defer that you mentioned, right? Like give me one practical use case where you would use let's say async, for example, and one practical use case for defer.
Okay, like for defer, like we also use like in our project we use some like fonts. Some it's because sometimes what we does we like we have the like a custom like fonts, we add them into the like there is some like a special requirement. So what we does, because font is something that we doesn't require it like immediately, they can be done. So what we do, if we are setting it to the like defer, so it will be loaded once all the like whatever is the mainly needed part, then after that that will be loaded.
Okay, got it. And async.
Like async, like I think by default it will be in async. Okay, async the with JavaScript that we use like to achieve asynchronous operation in JavaScript, because it is a synchronous language. So that we like for the API calls and for like any async operations, mostly we use it there.
Okay. So for the script tag we put like script async, and then there is also an async which comes in front of functions.
Yes,
So what's the difference between the both of those?
both of those. Mm, like the async that we use in function that I just told you, like right for the async operation. For async in script tags, I'm not able to like recall it, because
Sure.
it was way long back that I've used.
Sure. Okay. So tell me something about your project setup. Like, was it a Create React app, or did you all like do some sort of a manual build? Did you all inject it?
So firstly it was like simple npx create react app, and then we used white also, or we can say wheat.
Wheat, right? Okay.
So
So you got it to Wheat after.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Or did you all start only with Wheat? Because I think Create React app now allows you to choose Wheat as an option, I guess.
No, in wheat in if you say do simply like create react app, that simply creates the project and it takes a lot bit time. But in wheat, it simply like it also asks for like do you want to use tailwind or few images level just for inner like require points. So in wheat it does a bit faster. So in my last project, I used Bit, and we also using like Tailwind CSS. So first we do the project setup and like whatever the requirements. Like in my last project, we got the like Figma mockup design from the client. So we started from that, and then while in our office, there's a backend team. So that does the like API part, creating the endpoints and interaction with database. So simultaneously, I was creating the like components, and then whenever I getting the APIs, so I started working on the functionalities also. And for like this in we also use SVN for like code check-in part, and then in the like complete project setup. So that's how we work. And then for like providing the release also, uh, to have like the internal system. So first we upload the build to the like internal, then QA perform the all the testing and part. So this is how it goes.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Um, so you mentioned like you work with Tailwind as well. But your typical devflow was someone used to ship you a Figma, and you all convert that into UI and the API integration probably, and uh, those waivers. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Um, so I'll just jump to another concept of JavaScript. Since we touched based on like ES6, right? Uh, so like suppose if you have written some ES6 code, uh, and you want to target an older browser, how would you do that? How will you convert that ES6?
ES6. I think for this like a webpack also work. Webpack that creates the bundle. In that also work with this
Okay.
and
Yeah, so
this
I can do it, but how would you configure that in that part?
takes some time. I read it. Uh, I've read it, but not
Sure. Okay. Uh, have you come across Babel as a dependency?
Babel.
Yes. The NPM package Babel.
Yes. Babel basically that converts it from JSX to JS so that browser can understand.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So you could probably use like Babel, and there are some other functions as well to convert ES6 as well.
Yes, actually that's why I said like Webpack, because the Webpack works with Babel. So they both combine when they're creating bundles. Like there's some dynamic import also. So that whenever like what we do when we do code splitting, like using React.lazy, so that it will only be loaded when it's, so that it decrease the initial load of the like bundle.
Got it. Sounds good. I will come back on this topic where I will want to discuss, you know, the different optimizations that you've done. So we'll talk further about that.
No, it is just because I connected that. That's all. Explain. No,
Yeah, you know, I will come back on that as well because I wanted to discuss that too with you. But for now, I'll just move on to another ES6 concept. Um, so in JavaScript, there is like apps and for each, two different operations that you can perform on arrays.
yes.
So what's the difference between map and for each?
Okay, so like the main difference is that map returns while for it doesn't. If you're using for it, you have to like mention the return keyword. While map it returns. So uh, so main difference is like this. You have the index of the like of your array. It also returns the like, complete array.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. And what's the difference between let and var?
Let and where. Okay, so where is the like global, while let is the like adds the lexical scope. Let's the undefined. So because the value has not been assigned, you can say, or defined.
Got it. Um, you know what hoisting is?
Yes. Yes, sir. Due to hosting, that where the behaves how it behaves. Like hosting is basically the capability to like move the declaration, only the declaration part at the top for the, like the variable and functions. So that's why when we try to access keyword with declared with where, it gives us undefined.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. Let's see. we'll move on to, so there's this one more thing which I wanted to check with you. So when we send arguments to a function, there's something called as pass by value and pass by reference. What is the difference between both of those?
Pass the value and pass by reference. Well, reference work with like array and object, and value is whatever the like exact value we have, and the difference, um, it will lie like in somewhere, but I don't have the like exact words.
Okay, sure. But yeah, what you said is correct. Or arrays or objects. Suppose if I have an array of 10 elements, okay, and I want to remove the sixth element from that array.
Sixth element.
Correct. So the resulting array will be of 9 elements. And I don't want to modify the original array. So I want to create a copy of an array. How would I do that?
Okay, we can also like use filter here.
Okay.
Because filter will automatically give us a new array. It won't like modify the existing.
Okay. How would you use filter? You don't know the value, but you know the index.
Yes. So like I will simply use the this filter index of particular. So I have the index. So not equal to. So instead or like escaping that particular element, it will return rest of the elements.
Right. But suppose if you put duplicate elements, it might not work in the array.
Yes. So for but for if so like these are different. So now in this, first we said they will like I have to remove particular element, and now if there is duplicate, then we can like compare the like uh, elements in that.
No, no, no. So you got like 10 elements in an array. You don't know what the values are. They could be duplicates. They could not be duplicates. Uh, all you have to do is just remove the sixth element and give your new array of 9 elements in total.
Okay. Because if I remove like use it, I can also remove like duplicates using new also.
Yeah. So if you don't know if there are duplicates or not, but the resulting array has to be 9, right? Because you're doing the sixth one, the sixth element. Uh, so see, take your time.
Yeah, I can also I can use like slice also.
Okay. What does slice do?
Because slice like a cake of slice, it simply brings the part like if we uh, it takes a range on in which the last element is exclusive, so it provides the that range.
Got it. Okay. So you will, but then you will get the range, right? So you will maybe get the first to eighth element with slice. But you was square. Sorry, you get the first to fifth element. Uh, because you put that range. But we need 9. You're thinking in the right direction.
Because there is slice also, but that modifies the yes.
Correct. So that's the challenge. Your solution can be multiple lines. So it's okay if you are not doing it in one line.
Okay, I'm not getting to the solution.
Okay, that's okay. So I'll tell you why you were thinking the right direction. So you mentioned slice, right?
Yes.
So if you just do slice 2 times, uh, one from 0 to 5, and the second slice from 6 to, yeah, and join them.
Then join them. Okay.
Okay, with spread. Uh, you could also, so have you used like spread operators?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you could also like maybe make a new array with spread operator.
Yes. Yes. We can then combine them both.
Yeah, or you could just like make a new array with spread and then use splice, like you mentioned. Because now that new array, because it's a reference, a new object reference, it won't modify it.
No, that will be easy. Like if you do slice students.
Correct. Yeah. So that is one thing. Have you ever had the requirement to like use polyfills, or you had to make a polyfill of your own?
Polyfill, uh, like a custom property.
Yeah. So Are you familiar with like what polyfills are? Browser polyfills.
Yes, I can say 50-80% are friendly. If like
I'll explain it to you. So let's say we have this map function, for example, right? Map was not there earlier, like in the older JavaScript browsers. So let's say there is some user.
yes, I am familiar. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
But I haven't used it in my any of my project. But I know like how to. Okay.
Oh, but you've like never had to build something of your own, like to polyfill or use. Okay, that's fine. That sounds good. Now let's then go back to that same question which I wanted to ask you. So like in the 5 years that you worked on, right? Like I'm sure you've come across many opportunities where some things were working slow, like some app was slow or something that you built had to be optimized for performance. So tell me how your journey was for optimizing that. Like right from how you were analyzing, how you were debugging, getting the metrics, what changes you did that would enhance the speed. So we'll have a discussion around that.
Okay. For like when we like, as I told you about my like project with Fabric.js, so we had to like implement the NetSuite API also. So that was taking a lot of time. So in that, what we had to do like in our goal, we had to optimize it. Like they, you can say, way in too much depth, like so that you can like reduce the time. So in that, because earlier when I started making projects in React, we were not using like these methods, use callback, use memo, and these. So we applied. We also like decrease the size of the like images. So few were taking a lot of time due to this loading time was getting affected.
Okay.
So in on the on image, and if we are using some loop, or if we are getting some values in like we also created like sometimes we while doing the like functionalities, we create some variables that we don't require in the like once after the work is completed, we add some like unnecessary logs, also console log. So we have to remove all that and optimize it neatly. So from like writing the code to the like using images, and then the if you're using some any like any libraries also, so that way it goes from like starting to end.
Okay. Got it. So how did you understand that certain loops are time consuming and they need to be optimized? Like how did the debug process look like?
Because it was like uh, there are some tools maybe like in one of one two in one of our project we use some tools. So that was like when we like insert our port or use it with it, it explains like uh, at this part we are facing this, or and sometimes by we like debugging, then we got to know that API is calling in like 20 seconds and we were not getting this particular value in that time, and we were calling like doing the post functionality first, and then after we are getting the value, so we're doing debugging and using console logs many times. So that's how we got it to.
Okay. Got it. Sounds good. So before React, you said you were doing JavaScript, right? Like you started with.
Yes, HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Oh, so tell me like some of those projects, like how did they look? What did you work on at that time?
Okay, so like in the starting there was like travel websites. So in that I had to like using some animation, simple like it's few pages, jQuery also.
Go ahead. Okay. So those and like you were building websites with the JavaScript was like the functionality part.
Yes, yes, yes. In the starting, I started as a web designer.
Got it. Oh, so with React, are you like working with class components or functional components?
No, in functional components. Actually, in React, I have started in 2022. I have almost 3 years of experience in React. So it is was from the starting. It was functional components.
Okay, got it. Uh, so in functional components, like we've got hooks, right?
Yes,
That
yes.
we for data binding and all of that. Uh, you must have come across general advice that hooks have to be at the starting of the file. Uh,
Yes.
and not be placed at the bottom after some statements. Why do you think that is the case? Like, what is the issue if I will place a hook at the bottom?
Well, actually, I haven't like tried to place them inside it. We were like always using in the top.
Okay.
So
But
the
if you had to guess, like, what must be happening behind the scenes? Or have you witnessed that error ever?
which error?
Of like placing a hook at the bottom and some console warning or error coming?
No, I haven't placed. I haven't experimented this, but I will do just after this.
Yeah, it's okay. That was just something I was curious about, like if you came across. There's something else, which is like good conventions in React. So you must have like rendered a list in React with like map and adding a key.
Yes, yes.
So what is the value of that, like purpose of that key? Why do we need that key?
So key first it should be unique, and because that's how that gets to know the which part has been deleted, edited, or modified. So whenever we are entering any list, so it is mandatory and recommended also, and we get not the error, but we get the like warning. So you have to like use the uh, a unique key into the key parameter when you're entering a list.
Okay. Okay. So we can like switch to like some very broad topic in React. Okay. Just like explain in your own words now how the rendering part happens. Like, say for example, how does React know what UI to update on the page, and how is that render? You can go in as much detail or as much like broad uh, description that you prefer.
Okay, so it is like basically how the life cycle of React works.
Right.
Yeah, so first component did mount. So basically component gets rendered into the like you can say browser. So it will be come into the browser and then in the UI and part. And if and then there is it checks there is then component did update, but before that it checks if in case of any change in the state or props, then only it rendered, so that component data bit will be executed, otherwise it will not. Otherwise it's if it sees like there's no change in any, so it will render that part only. And then once the like one component is done and we are moving to the like another, so that part of that component particular done, then it will remove then that in terms of like cycle, it is called component unmount. So it will be like removed from the browser, not and it is not required anymore, or some other components gets loaded. So this is how basically lexically goes from.
Right. Okay. Like what triggers the remounting or the rendering in React?
Any change in like state or props.
Okay. So let's say if some state value has updated, like from true to false,
Yes.
how does React know now what it needs to?
Yes, in functional components, like we access these method using the hooks. These hooks. So these are basically function. So if I counter a common example, if I once I click on the counter, it increases to 1. So in that case it changes the value from 1 to 2. So there's a change in the state. So using that hook it gets to know what happens in the in back. So earlier like with React 16 I think version, React the core algorithm of the React was get you can say got the like bigger update. So it is called fiber. So what fiber it basically responsible for the there's some rendering happening. So what it does, it breaks it into small chunks, and so that it can now play, pause, or resume or pause any task. So if like say like to optimize it better on the UI side. So if there's some animation, there's some background API calls they are getting done, and there's some text into the input. So it will also can prioritize the task. So it will show let's say the frame of the animation, then the text. So this is how it updates it into the once if there's one change, and it also does it into the like a batch. If sees there's one request come, then second if see there's no use of the second request, it directly updates the third one. So that's why I do it very fastly, only in that particular part.
Got it. So in React Fiber also, right? There is still some diffing going on. So how does that diffing happen, and how does React know? So you have the entire web page, and maybe the state change was like true false for some checkbox. So even though the component was like rendering an entire UI, only the checkbox has to be updated.
Yes.
How does React know that only this checkbox has to be re-rendered?
Yes, that the thing is done basically. I think it is called the reconciliation, the complete concept. So what it does, it basically compare the trees and tree what is the, so we have like we know this concept of virtual DOM. So what it does, once the change is made, so it simply compare the current virtual DOM with the previous. So, and then it identifies, first it generates a tree of the nodes, then it sees what is the change has been like, that's how it gets the which part has been changed, and then only update that part into the real DOM. So that's how it does the like minimal uh, time, or and it is what makes React the fast from any other like framework or other libraries.
Got it. Okay. I just ask you like one more thing about moving back to JavaScript, right? Like there's something called as events in JavaScript.
Events.
Correct.
Yes.
So just explain how would you create an event, listener, like the one line of code, and some general idea that you have around events, with why we use them.
Events are basically how we like interact with the web page. Let's say you click some doing some mouse. So these are the events. And in JavaScript, we can like this one like method create LEO. Sorry, we can access like these events. And let's say we simply in the in but if you are simply using JavaScript, we can get any element by you using like get the ID or the class, and then we can like say a click method. Then we use a callback and to perform any operation or anything is like, if I'm getting the value of some, let's say one element, so I'll get the element document dot get element by ID, and then on click I can add the event and then perform whatever I want to do, want to on this on click that on that particular event.
So in events, there's like concept of bubbling.
Yes.
So what is bubbling, and like why would like any place that you'd want to use it, practical use?
Okay, so bubbling is basically it goes from inside out. So like if I have two dips, parent and child, once I click on it, so what will happen? Uh, if I want to click on the say child div, so first whatever function, let's say I'm calling two function, child and parent. So first the function that is connected with child div will be executed, and then the parent div, because it goes from inside to out, child, parent, grandparent, that's how.
Got it. Okay. Any practical use for it? Like why would you need to use a bubbling?
It like it depends in with the case of requirements. Let's say I can give you like for giving this example, I can, let's say if I have two divs, I want to change the color of like inside div, and then I'm also changing the color of the like parent div, but I can use the value of the child div, so that's how I can like perform it and execute in the JavaScript. That's how we can done it.
Okay. So have you also like implemented CSS of your own, or like has it been like Bootstrap or Tailwind classes that you're more comfortable with?
I'm more comfortable in all three because I've read my own. I've used Bootstrap also, and then I've used Tailwind also. And Tailwind I like much because it gives the classes for even a very small property. So you can just simply keep adding.
Got it. So I'll just ask you something on CSS and something on Tailwind.
Okay.
We done that. Uh, so in CSS, we've got display, right? Block, none, things like that.
Yes, yes.
Um, Give me some more display values that you know of.
Okay. Display none, display block, display flex, display grid, and
Yeah, that's okay. So there's also like visibility hidden, right? Yeah, the kind of, what's the difference between visibility hidden and display none?
Okay, so in display none, it completely remove that element from the like DOM, while it when in visibility hidden, what it does, it occupies the space there, but it won't be visible.
Okay. So what's the difference between visibility hidden and opacity zero?
Opacity 0. In like one of them, I think user can interact.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know the exact which one, because for none I'm sure that it removes it from, but in hidden it occupies a space. Well, I think opacity 0 we can interact with it.
Got it. Okay.